Hello, and welcome to Emerging, a podcast where I talk to both new and emerging artists about their experiences navigating the art world. My name is Arnold Barretto. I am a photographer, graphic designer, and printmaker, and I will be your host. Before we get into this episode, I just wanted to point out that we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, so you can watch this episode however you would like. So today, I'm very excited because I am joined by an amazing choreographer and director, Brendon Hansford. Brendon has worked with many influential brands as well as celebrities such as Sam Smith, Normani, and Rod Stewart. So without further ado, here is Brendon. Hi, Brendon. How are you? Thank you for joining me today. How have you been?
I'm brilliant. Thank you very much. And thank you for inviting me on your podcast. I'm excited to see what you're going to ask me.
Yeah. So this is completely random, but the first thing I wanted to say to you was that while I was doing some research for this website for this podcast, I was on your website and I really like your logo. Like,
the
it's really,
barcode.
yeah. Especially with the gold.
Yeah.
It looks
Have
really
you tried
good.
scanning it?
No.
You should.
Well, okay. I'll do that later.
Give it a scan, see where it takes you.
Okay, cool. So let me ask you this. Where do you consider yourself to be right now? Do you consider yourself as an emerging artist, a new artist, established? And how would you define that for yourself?
That's a hard one because I do so many different things. Like my official title is creative director, choreographer for stage and screen. That's my official title. But on top of that, I'm also a photographer, cinematographer. I do podcasts as well, as you know. You've helped me set some up in the past. And a teacher and an educator and all of these things. So I would say, on the education side, I'm very much established, very much out there, working in some of the best places I can work at, been doing it for years and really honed my art form where I can just show up and do it rather than, weeks and weeks of preparation. As choreographer, very similar. Again, I've been full-time choreographing since I was 30 and also choreographing probably since I started dancing. I've always been a creative. And the actual creative side, again, it seems to be something that I've found comes very naturally to me, i.e. I will sit and have a conversation with someone about their ideas, and before you know it, I'm thinking of ideas for them. Or a lot of agencies out here employ me to just come up with ideas, which is actually one of my favorite parts. You just get to sit and drink coffee and eat pizza and talk ideas about this brief they've got in from a client. So I'd say on the dance front, I feel like I'm very established. I feel like I've done very well and I'm getting jobs without too much effort. My long-term goal is to be a video, film, commercial music video director full-time, but with everything involving to do with dance, movement, performance, singing, acting, poetry, the more performance element of the video world. But then I also have aspirations to do a film. My brain changes constantly in terms of I want to do different things, and so I'm kind of going with the flow a little bit. But even as a director, I've managed to pull some really big jobs up, and that's really come from word of mouth.
I would say some pretty big jobs.
Yeah, and I think the development was because obviously I was a choreographer to begin with, and then on sets I started doing movement direction, and I got to work with some incredible directors from around the world, and watching them and learning from them, and it just developed. And like any other career, it started with a few low budgets where people brought me in as a director, and I got to kind of play a little bit and test out the waters. To now, I'm starting to work with much bigger budgets now. Not quite Hollywood film budget yet, but it's getting to the point where I know what I'm doing, and I can I can confidently go in without having to fact check everything and go, I know what this is and this is how I do it. This is what I want. Whereas you always find in the beginning, as much as you can prepare for working in this industry, there's nothing better than the experience of working in this industry over the preparation. I would always say to someone who's looking to go into education, for example, is can you do the same thing while working? Film industry, start as a runner and build your way up and learn as you go, because the experience I've got from doing the job and working with other people was 10 times more valuable than any of the education I got. So yeah, I think that answered the question. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, it did. So you said you pretty much started out as a dancer, choreographer initially, right? And then it seeped into everything else. What did you like? How was that early stages for you?
Well, I didn't start dancing until I was 18. So
Okay.
I started really late. I actually studied fashion design before that. I went to the London College of Fashion and was studying design and technology for the fashion
Okay.
world. So it was always something creative. I've always been doing something creative. And I got into this amazing school in London at the age of 16. I moved away from my country, little town, lived on my own in the big city, which was scary. But I was 16, you know, I was like, I can take on the world. Of course, I couldn't, but I thought I could. And then at the age of 18, I kind of saw the dancing at Pineapple Dance Studios in the UK and kind of fell in love with it a little bit. Started doing classes. Next thing you know, I'm at Performing Arts College, wanting to be in a boy band, as you did back then. And then I
Can you
went
sing?
to Love and Centre. Huh?
Can you sing?
I can hold a tune. I wouldn't say I'm a good singer. People have complimented me, but then people have also said, Brendon, be quiet. So depends who you're listening to. But yeah, back then I could. So bear in mind, I was 20 years old back then. So, you know, back then I could hold a decent tune, whereas I haven't really done much since in terms of singing, although I have a massive passion for musical theatre. So you never know. Things might be happening in the background.
Yeah, there's still time.
I know, right? And we're in the best country to do it in as well. Just putting it out there. So what's the question? My brain went completely somewhere else.
What was the formative years for you? Like,
Yeah. So I wasn't actually a choreographer back then. I was always a creative, but I didn't know I was a creative. So I was 18, I wanted to dance. I went to dance school. I trained as a ballet contemporary dancer. Came out, did a bit of work, and then when I went to America, started training as a street dancer in like the styles of street dance, so locking, popping, house, break dance, hip hop, old school, new school. And then back in London again was training, and just worked as a dancer. You know, I wasn't really classing myself as a choreographer. It was just something I did because I wanted to make extra money, so I would start teaching classes. And those classes developed into a company or two that I would run and create shows for. Still class myself as a dancer, didn't think of myself as a choreographer in any way. It wasn't until I hit back 30 and I was on a dance contract doing a contemporary dance company. And I had to lift someone every night on one arm. And she comes in, I lift her up, and blah, blah, blah. And throughout the contract, my shoulder got weak and one day just popped.
oh,
Alas, I was completely out. So that was the moment I decided I'm done as a dancer. I've finished. My career is over. Blah, blah, blah. I actually started training as a life coach, believe it or not, which weirdly enough led me down my own life coaching journey, which made me realize I miss dancing like crazy. I just don't want to be a dancer. So that's when I decided to come back as a full-time choreographer. And I still say to today, that's when my career started. After 30 is when I started getting jobs with these incredible artists on these incredible sets as a choreographer, creating stuff. And yeah, I haven't really stopped since then. It's just kept going. And I'm in Dubai.
And now you're in Dubai. Which was, so when you moved to Dubai, did it feel like you were starting anew again, or was it pretty much like that you've already had so much contacts that it's easier?
No, 100% new again. Like, obviously, I left the UK when it was going into its third lockdown. And to be honest, I had enough. You know, the first lockdown was hard, but I managed to get myself through it and get proactive and create stuff. And then it started to move. And then we had a second lockdown, which brought everything to a halt again. So it was a bit like, when's it going to change? And then the second lockdown broke. And again, I was creating, lining up loads of stuff, getting funding from places. Third lockdown happened and everyone took that one really seriously in the UK. And so I was like, I'm done. I'm out. I can't stay here. I can't do this again. A friend of mine lives out here in Dubai, and I just called him, and an amazing choreographer guy called Eddie Stockton called him, said, "What's it like over there?" And he's like, "Dude, they'd love you here. Come." I was like, "Okay, cool." And we were going to speak about it, but instead I just booked a flight, and I was there 3 days later, knocking on his door, going, "Hey, I'm staying at yours tonight." And he was like, "We spoke 3 days ago. I thought we were going to talk again." I was like, "No, I'm here. Hi." And honestly, ever since I've got here, it's been a bit like a roller coaster. Yeah. I think the difference is this is my kind of perspective, is people are happy to help here. And I think it's good people are here kind of for a short happy time, not necessarily a long time, which is ironic because most people go, I'm here for 2 years, and then they're here 10 years later. So obviously it's a good place to live. But I 80% turnaround rate of the emails I sent out, whereas in the UK it might be 3%. So I suddenly got all these meetings. The first week I didn't stop being in meetings. I didn't have a clue where I was. I was trying to travel around on the metro. You know, I didn't understand that it's a lot easier to rent a car here, right? Yeah. A 15-minute journey in a car is an hour journey on the metro. Yeah. So I was running around like crazy, you know, talking to all the dance studios, talking to all the production companies, talking to educational establishments. And within the first week, I'd already booked a few jobs. Compared to the UK, there was nothing. So yeah, it was exciting. I like that kind of, I know nothing, no one knows me. You know, maybe some people have heard of me, but no one knows me. So I get to really kind of get into networking mode and get into building mode, which is one of the funnest parts for me because I get to meet new people and I enjoy doing that.
And I think that keeps everything fresh, right?
Yeah, it really does. It keeps it exciting, and being creative and probably a little bit ADHD. Yeah. I need that constant, you know, I need that constant change. I need that constant progress. I need different projects. You stick me in a single 9-to-5 job, I will rot and disappear, you know, if I last. I don't think I'd last more than a month in a full-time job.
I think I lasted 6 months. I pretty much lasted 6 months.
Much better than I know my process. I'd be 1 week, I'm excited. I do amazing stuff. I probably work harder than anybody else in the building. Second week, I'd plateau. Third week, I'd be like, what am I doing here? Fourth week, I'd be looking for a way out already. Yeah. I know myself too well to commit myself to that. Now, for me, if it's a creative director role, that's different because it changes every day. You're creating a final product, that's different, and then you know it ends. But if it's well, if you think of the machines in a hospital, when it's one line, you're dead, right?
Yeah.
You've got to do this.
That's pretty much like, I mean, my last job, which you know of, was like every month was different, so it felt like fresh, and I had to do different things.
So excited.
Yeah, but towards the end, it got more admin than creative, so I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, that's the point I would be up to.
yeah. So, so do you always jump into something like immediately, like how you did shifting here?
No, it was a bit, this is the first time I've ever lived away from the UK. It's weird because someone asked me that and I went, no, I've lived away from, no, I haven't. It's weird because I've traveled so much with work and, you know, I love doing that. Like, if I want to go somewhere, I will contact people in that country and say, hey, I'm coming, can I do any teaching? Do you need any directing? Do you need any video work? But I didn't realize I've never lived away from the UK. I've been away for months at a time doing projects and gigs. This is the first time I've moved, got a visa, full residency, opened bank accounts. So it was a crazy new experience for me. Hard sometimes, like the saying "Welcome to Dubai" is like imprinted on my brain because I'd always say, "This is taking so long. Why? I don't understand." And everyone goes, "Welcome to Dubai." So anything, you know, official just takes a bit of time, and I wish someone had said that to me first, because then I would have relaxed and go, oh, it's okay. It's what it is. But the first 3 months here were interesting because lockdown in England had really taken away a lot of my money, and my savings were virtually depleted. So I was here with X amount of money and I had to make it last and pay for the visa as a freelance visa. And I was, you know, doing some jobs and I couldn't get paid until I had my bank account, because the guys I was working for were very official, very above board. So everything had to go through the correct channels. So there was a moment where I was like, I'm going to run out of money, but I'm owed this much money. And it was like, what do I do? I can't borrow money. Like, I could, obviously, worst case scenario, family. But I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to make it work. But in the end, after that, it's just being like clean sailing. You know, I've got a beautiful flat, which I love to pieces. Getting a car soon. Can't wait. Get rid of my rental.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been in that blooming Picanto the whole time. Oh my God, it's like a little tin can. And you put your foot down and you've got to count 2 seconds before it actually accelerates. So you go, boom. It's like maximum engine power. So yeah, I'm getting a car for myself soon, which I'm looking forward to.
Nice.
But yeah, it's just been clean sailing. It's been rolling from one job to the next. And I feel like that initial month where I went nuts networking everybody really paid off, because I haven't had to do that again since I've been here. However, I feel like I'm going into a different transitional phase again. I'm very much about transitions. But there's a lot of stuff in the UK, because I've decided to stay here and I don't see myself moving back to the UK. I'm kind of sewing up everything over there and getting rid of it, and then having everything here. What that means for me as a creative, I don't know yet. I'm still playing with ideas and moving around. I know my title. That's all I need is, creative director, choreographer for stage and screen. That's my title. I just need to build the brand around that while keeping my old brand, like the barcode, which everybody loves. So it's all good.
Yeah, and that logo is stellar. So you clearly use a lot of networking, right? Like you jump on that the minute you have an idea or you want to move somewhere. What's the do you have any tips for like reaching out to people other than just reaching out?
Well, yeah. So obviously, remember, people buy from people. That's the biggest kind of salesy bit. You do have to be a little bit salesy, which I know a lot of creatives are reluctant to do. It's something that I was reluctant to do, but then obviously when I saw it working, I was like, hold up, you kind of do need to sell yourself quite heavily here. So don't be that creative. It's like, I'm okay, I can do the job. It's taken me a long time to go, yeah, that's no problem. I'm bloody good at what I do, and you'll get a good product. And be really, really confident, because you don't want to go into, okay, let's take doctors, for example. You get an illness and they go, here's some medication, it might work. You'd rather have a doctor go, this is going to make you better, which is exactly what companies need, especially from creatives. We go in, we do the job, and we leave. They want someone who can do the job and leave. That's it. That's all they want. So they don't want a maybe person that they're going to have to hold their hands and then have to go through the whole editing process with them and guide them through what they want. They want someone they can go, this is your role, go and do it. And then at the end, show me your finished product and we will give you feedback, and then you rewind and do it again, and so on. Obviously with choreography, it's more of an instant result because they see it. The amount of jobs that I've been left on my own and the director's given me the faintest of a brief, and even I go, what do I do with this? And you have to interpret it really quickly, create something. So it's sometimes better to just create anything quick, send the video over, and then the director or whoever the top creative is will go, no, we're looking for more like this. And then you get your answers. Don't be afraid to go the wrong way so that you can be helped on the right way. That's 2 bits of advice. A lot of people are like, gotta get, like anxiety that they've got to get it perfect straight away. No, if you're first time working with someone, they get it. Most creatives get it, that there's always a little bit of are we going to match? It's going to take a few jobs to get us on the streamline. Or, with my kind of cinematography, I just did a job for Expo, basically creating a documentary into the opening of, the making of the opening ceremony. And, the first few days, I kind of got told what to do a little bit. And I actually made a point of editing what I'd already done, showed them it, and they went, wow, didn't know you got all that. That's amazing. How did you do that so fast? After that day, they left me to it. They left me to do my own thing. They knew they then went, we have confidence in you. And that's the thing. Just go into everything and be super confident. So when you're networking with people, don't be like, oh yeah, that sounds really cool and really played back. Be like, oh sick. So do you need a choreographer? Great. Well, yeah, no, have a look at my stuff. I know what I'm doing. I can do that job easily. Cool. If you're just networking with people that might not know they need you yet, ask them. This is my biggest killer because I mentor people here and there. It's a bit like this, really. We meet on Zoom, we meet in person. They tell me what they're up to. I ask the correct questions to make them go, oh, I didn't think of that. Sometimes they help me and I go, oh God, I didn't think of that. That's really clever. So don't be afraid to ask. Ask about their business, talk to them, and try and find the holes in their business. Prime example is I got onto an agency in the UK just before COVID, of course, so it doesn't really matter anymore. And it's a big agency. Like, to get on this agency is hard. And they were not really an agency that deals with my style of choreography or my known style of choreography. So I looked through their website and I noticed they don't have any choreographers like me at all. So I was like, oh, interesting. So I sent them an email saying, hey, I've seen you've got this choreographer, all very famous choreographers, blah, blah, blah. But I also noticed that you don't really have a commercial choreographer. And being the industry that you're in, that's starting to grow really quickly. And you don't want to miss out on that as an agency. They said, literally reply going, I'm really impressed with that email. Let's have a meeting. And they took me on a week later. So it's finding, how do I say this? Stop trying to sell what you have trying to sell, and you need to start trying to sell what they need. There we go. That's the line, I think.
Okay.
Stop selling what you have and start selling what they need. Yeah.
I think you've given me like 3 different pieces of advice that's just amazing, all in all. And it was just like one after the other. So let's go.
Yeah. But that last one is the best one, I promise. I promise the last
write it down. You should put it in a book. You should make a book.
Yeah. I am writing a book. Later in this. What did I say? Stop. Okay, wait.
I'll send you a recording of this. You'll see it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I want to take that little clip out and post it.
You can take the whole thing verbatim and just write it down.
You know me, I'll just post it because I'm lazy. I need to hire someone who can just sit there and go through everything I've done podcasting and pull out little clips like Gary Vee does, for example. Like I look at his stuff and go, "This is great," and I go, "I don't have the time for that. I need an assistant that will do it for me."
Hi, I can be assistant.
Yeah, I can't afford you yet.
Who said?
I mean, how much you get paid?
Who said? I'm making peanuts right now.
I can't afford you yet. I'm still writing it down. There we go.
Okay, no worries.
Cool. Yeah, so same thing. Yeah, exactly what I was just saying is hypothetically, say we work together and I brought you on to help me out with my projects. If you made yourself invaluable by filling the hole of the things that I can't do, come on, get ready. Got to find a way to afford you. Look at the gaps. Look at their social media. Is it terrible? And which great. You go in and go, be honest, say, your social media is not good. I can really help you with this. You know, give me a week paid and I'll show you the difference. If you don't like it, I'll walk away. I've done that recently, actually, here. I did a job where I went and did a commercial for them. And then I did I'm also trained as a social media advertiser for like Facebook and Instagram. And I went in and said, look, this is what we can do. This is how much it's going to cost you. They said no, they said no, they said no. All right, I said, look, give me the budget to spend. And I think it was like 5,000 dirham. And I'll prove to you what I can do. Give me a target. If I hit it, you pay me. I hit it in the first 3 days out of a month. And they've rehired me ever since to keep doing the same thing. So be confident in what you can do. Go in. If you mess it up, you mess it up. That's only one client you've upset. Don't worry about it. Yeah. There's so many. Just do it right.
Awesome. Okay. So you said you do a lot of like Zoom calls where you talk to like a lot of people giving advice and stuff like that. Is there something that you've seen that is like very common that people struggle with that we haven't talked about?
Yeah, people don't get out of their own way, genuinely. My biggest thing, and I think I spoke to you about this on the podcast in the past, mental health. Deal with your issues. Issues is a bad word to use, but you know my point. Deal with what's stopping you. Get out your own way, because you'll have certain fears, you'll have certain traits, you'll have certain behaviors. Some you might not even know you're doing. They call it a blind spot in life coaching. The idea is that if this is life, and this is all of the knowledge in the universe, you know this little tiny sliver here. In fact, it's probably so small you can't even see it. And then there's this section of things you don't know. Like, I know Arabic exists, but I can't speak Arabic yet. Do you see what I mean? So, and then there's all this stuff you didn't know. Yeah, so like you didn't even know it existed to know that it existed. And that's what happens to yourself as you're growing up, you learn different traits, you pick up different behaviors. They call it a learned behavior. So I don't know, something happens, something bad or good or whatever. And from that, let's assume it's bad because that's normally where we actually get our personalities. And someone rejects you as a 6-year-old, and then you decide that people don't like you. I need to be likable. Then you do everything in your power to be a likable person, whether it's own the best toys or organize the parties or just suck up to everybody and be nice to everybody in the world. So then you do that for a month, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, and before you know it, it's just a learned behavior and you forgot why you started, and that becomes who you are. Now, using that as an example is being that concerned about being likable is great because you're lovely to everybody. But then when someone just doesn't like you, which happens, and you don't know why, it knocks you back to that original memory without realizing it. And you go, I really don't like that. I don't know why I don't like that, because you've forgotten, So life coaching. So understanding that, that 6-year-old is the reason you're feeling so upset at the age of 30 makes you kind of go, would I listen to a 6-year-old now? No. So why am I still listening? So it's I'd say most people need just mindset training. It might be that you read enough books that you can figure it out yourself. That's the short way. The quick way is get a really bloody good life coach who can take you through all this, help you look into things that are holding you back, what's getting in your way. Obviously, a good life coach will spot it within the first session, and they'll know exactly what it is. However, one thing to remember, a very, very good life coach will never, ever tell you. So this is a lie, by the way. This is, Arnold, you are a rude person in the way you speak, right? That's me telling you something. Or you are arrogant. You're not, for the record. But I might be that way and not realize I'm being that way, or you might be that way and not being that way. And I would never tell you. Because if I tell you, there's no impact. So you go, well, that's your opinion. Yeah, you're arrogant, right?
Right.
However, if the therapist or the life coach asks the right questions at the right time, that helps you go, God, I'm being arrogant. I didn't realize. When you realize it yourself, you can't run away from it. You can't go, that's your, oh wait, it's my opinion. Shit. So yeah, I'd say 100% mindset training. Because the minute you get yourself out of the way, let me rewind because I'm talking a lot. So if you are good at what you do, so if we take dancing, for example, if you are a good dancer, there is no reason why you shouldn't be working. So it's not your talent. If you can look in the mirror and be honest with yourself, and if you are a rubbish dancer, get better at dancing. But that's not all. Dancing isn't being the best dancer in the country isn't always going to get you the work if you don't look right for the part, or have the right attitude, or have the right mentality, or have the right humanness, I think is the best word. So yeah, just get out your own way. Stop causing yourself problems. Stop creating enemies. Stop burning bridges. And stop blaming everybody. Chances are, if something's gone wrong in your life, it's you that did it. Just figure out what it is that you did to sabotage yourself in that way. I still do it, but the minute I realize I've done it, I'm like, damn, I need to make a phone call and apologize for whatever I did. But yeah, it also comes with experience and age. As you get older, you notice things. Because again, I can tell people what to do, and it's still my opinion. They still can choose to ignore it or take that advice. I'm not always right, but again, I try not to say you should do this. When I mentor, I just ask lots of questions. So, what are you looking to do? Okay, great. How would you get there? This is the basics, obviously. And okay, if that wasn't a problem, how would you get there? Okay, now let's go back to the problem. How are you going to get around the problem? Oh, I don't know. Okay, if you were being resilient and non-stop and, unfathomably going for that goal, how would you do it? I suppose I would do this. Why haven't you done that? Because I'm scared. Okay, why are you scared? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the process that people need to take themselves through if they can. It's hard. It's really, really hard to lose yourself because you get ego in the way, you get wanting to be right in the way and not wanting to be wrong. And, and there's the other side of all the things that happen in your past that might trigger rejection issues or, I don't know, other sex issues or whatever. Yeah. So mindset, I think is where to start, definitely. Then after that, the rest will become clearer. You'll notice changes.
Awesome. Cool. I don't have any other questions. Do you have anything else you want to add to that or the whole show?
I suppose plugging myself is the last bit, right? So
yeah, you can talk about yourself.
One, obviously, like I said, I do multiple of things. One thing I know that I do regularly that people can come to is I teach at SEMA Performing Arts every Tuesday. I have a beginner class at 7 and a more advanced class at 8. If you want to see what I do, go to my Instagram, which is literally Brendon_Hansford. And everything kind of links from that. Yeah, and BrendonHansford.com, all my stuff is on there. And that's it, really. You need a director, need a choreographer, need a creator, give me a shout. Need a mentor, give me a shout. Need me on your podcast, give me a shout. Awesome. Yeah, I'm a creative. Whatever you need, people give me a call. Even if you just want to say hello, I'm approachable, I promise.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brendon.
Perhaps. And thank you for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much to Brendon for being on this episode. It was a great time talking to him. I hope you enjoyed it as well. So thank you for joining us. Please make sure to like and subscribe to this channel, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.